Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Also below this video you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Neil, 10th Man, Arwin and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Good morning.
How are you?
Very well.
Thank you for asking.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Arwin. And how's everybody in Discord, given that we haven't had a single peep from any of them so far?
Doing well, Nathan. Thank you.
Oh, brilliant. This won't make Globe Earth dictate. Thank God. Excellent. So, any evidence of... Go on. Who's trying to get a word in? 10th. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say maybe they're mesmerizing. Maybe we're mesmerizing to them, and they just don't feel the need to speak because we hold their attention.
I think they've retreated. I think they've retreated and making new plans since they got beat up every time they come in for battle over the topic of the day.
Well, I said it yesterday that they've stuck their heads in the sand for the last minimum 18 months since the Black Swan came out and just ignored it. And it's like, okay, you need to spin everything in relation to a lack of R or avoid any sort of recognition of it whatsoever and then just carry on regardless, right? Keep asserting drop values and how many feet and inches or meters are missing, all of which requires R. And, you know, ploughing on regardless isn't going to change the fact that we ask for it daily. And there's a good reason why we ask for it daily. We've debunked it. But as I say, they're sticking their heads in the sand and they have to work as very efficient spin doctors when it comes to addressing the elephant in the room, and that is the R value. Shout out to Uniftox Femu, who's also in our Discord server right now, under Sasha, who says, look, picture from Ramsgate in voice chat. Okay. I don't know what that means. I don't go into voice chat, but I'm sure somebody from the G Plus panel hopefully hustle that up. We shall see. If not, maybe not, but thank you for the super chat.
So, Nathan, is it unreasonable for us to ask for curvature if we live on a sphere? Any proof of it?
No, not in the slightest. It's claimed to be their number one prophecy of an Earth that's spherical. Here's a picture mocked up by me. Earth by space with a curve. That's your horizon. It's not actually me that made this. I forget to credit who actually made this on my behalf, but there we go. You can get the general gist of what I'm saying. There's a horizon. It's supposed to be Earth curve. That's the claim, right? Unreasonable to ask for it. You're kidding. No, we've just debunked that the horizon's a physical geometric limitation to your view, formerly known as Earth curve. That's not your horizon.
Well, they're the ones who are the proponents for Earth curve, and the horizon was Earth curve. At least it used to be, because it was claimed that it blocked the bottom of boats and buildings. And then when we put the geometric numbers on it to say, all right, based on your radius of 3959, it could be no further than this at a certain observation height, and that doesn't pan out, maybe that's why they haven't shown up for a while. They have no response for it, other than to accept the fact that we don't live on a sphere with a curvature.
Depends who they are. If you're talking about a they that has come through, realised they don't have an R value, and now sit with their head in the sand, well, then they won't come here because they know exactly what they'll be asked for. Now, there are a certain level of humility-free people that will still toddle along every so often. We had one yesterday, and they're basically here to say, we don't answer loaded questions which are exactly the same as the question I've asked you. But just pathetic, really. But that's the kind of dick that we do deal with now. But beyond that, the people who've come, they've come in force and lost. And now we spend our days going, you got an R value? You haven't? Oh, right. I don't know, let's spend, I don't know, a solid week arguing about how fair a debate platform is from some nobody who's on the Globe side. Whole week. Like, all I did was ask for R. I asked for it daily. And out of maybe 150 comments now, one person mentioned the repetitions that we have to go through, 80 to 100. Tommy and myself combined. I didn't add Flatsoid on because he came in after the fact. But there we go, a third party to the two that already existed. So fourth party, if you will. And one, since the last time I mentioned this, person has come through and said, okay, yeah, cats can't get R. But he rephrased it into, neither of you are happy to deal with R. And he said, well, if you have an argument that requires R, are you okay to be cross-examined on R, given that you're saying you don't want it used? Like, I can... What do you mean I'm prohibited from using R? I ask for it daily, right? Your opponents, they run from R. That's why they're not here. Because they don't last very long without it. So they're not here. It's just that simple. Well, you know, rustling around, I don't know, neutrality and fairness, and it's all bollocks. R, that's the elephant in the room. Right? And if you haven't got it, you'll run from any debates. That's the reality. Because what have you got if you've already been through this part of the woods? Well, you know damn well you haven't got an R value, right? Because we ask you for it. And you haven't got it. We've debunked it. So, what are we going to get? Somebody come through with a shitty old argument that they've already put forward and has already been requested and the R value that they'll be utilising? No, there is no new arguments. So they've got nothing to come through with. So then who are you left with? That's anti-flat earthers. You're then left with globe believers. Well, if you've got a modicum of intelligence, you'll watch the show first. And you'll hear this, stuff like the stuff I'm saying now. And you'll go, what's he talking about? R? Like Pat Brittenden. What, I don't really understand this R, but Nathan says you haven't got an R value. It's first thing off his lips. Everyone wants to say I'm running away when I've got direct quotes of me getting really angry with him, telling him I'm not. It's just the elephant in the room isn't getting addressed. So, it would have been much easier to just go, what an idiot. Of course we've got R. Here it is. But nobody did that. One person out of maybe 150 said, okay, so you both can't use R. So what if you used it? It's like, I don't need it, but I ask for it daily. You need it and haven't got it. That's the actual situation here. So let's create a load of smoke and mirrors and hyperbole and claim that Nathan ran away. No, on the contrary. I tested the debating moderator to see if I got to my winning point. That's that you haven't got an R value. What would happen? Well, he told me in no uncertain terms that would be an unreasonable concession to seek. Yeah, he doesn't really know what it is, and it's the first thing off his lips because it was the first thing I asked for. Yeah? Ah. So, lads, you want to know why there's nobody here? Well, that's because they haven't got an R value. It's as simple as that.
So you think he still doesn't know what the R value means, this Pat Brittington, or do you think he's done his homework? I think he's full of crap.
In the words of Sleeping Warrior, move on, the guy's a nobody. It's just useful to illustrate. Yeah? As much as the spin and hyperbole and lies can come from our opponents about me running away, on the contrary, it doesn't seem to matter how much I say, no, I do want to debate. I just need my point not to be ignored 80 to 100 times. My point is R. So, any evidence of the R value? Earth radius.
Ex Pat Brittington. Maybe he's find out.
He doesn't understand this stuff. Fair enough, I'm not going to haul him over the coals for not understanding what it is. But to assume that you can debate a reasonable show and tell somebody who's made the claim that their opponent hasn't got R, rather than going, I wonder if he'll just give it me. He says, I don't understand it, but to ask for it's unreasonable. That's what he basically said. I don't understand what this means, but it's unreasonable to ask for it. Really, so if we're in a debate live in front of an audience and I asked him for R, you tell me it was unreasonable, I have an email. Yeah, of course you would. It does make me laugh. It's also very embarrassing how Katz and Ranty have both lied about the actual circumstances, and then a few brave souls have come along and said, yeah, Nathan's just trying to get so angry that you tell him not to come. It's like, how many ways can you spin this? I ask for her, and you all run for the hills and want to claim I've run away. That's what's happened, dear lads. Yeah?
Well, there can only be...
It's projection. That's what it is.
There can only be two options here. One, they don't know the question you're asking, and the other is they do know the question you're asking, and they don't have it to produce it for you. So when you ask someone, what evidence do you have for the R value, and they are heliocentric, and they believe they live on a sphere with a radius of 3959, all you're asking for is, where is that place on Earth that we can observe obstruction due to curvature? Based on the math and the black swan, it has limitations at observation heights, depending if you're 1 foot high or 5 feet high. How could they not know this? I think they're running for the hills.
They are running for the hills because in the hills they can still shout out that you've got obstruction and drop and ask their opponents how there's 20 feet missing or 20 meters missing. It's like every one of your requests needs R because you're only asking why 20 feet's missing because it's missing by virtue of your claim of drop in an calculator that's got R. Hello? So yeah, I'm going to need the basis of every single claim. If you're going to claim the U, because the U value gives you time dilation in Narnia, and every single argument you start with is based on that U value that derivatively gives you time dilation in Narnia, I'm just going to say every single argument this person comes up with uses the U value to claim proof of validity when talking about Narnia. Well, Narnia doesn't exist. Where's the U value? And they go, that's unreasonable. You're asking him to concede that Narnia is not real immediately? Yeah, that's my winning argument because he always uses the U value to claim it is real, and you haven't got one. In fact, we've had to go to great extents to debunk it because when we proved you just assumed it, you just told us that you just assumed Narnia is real anyway. So then we had to go even further and prove that Narnia wasn't real by assuming it was real and showing how it wasn't by debunking the U value. So it's not unreasonable to request that they don't use that, given that nobody's acknowledged it for 18 months. They stick their heads in their sands. I have an open door where they can challenge me that they have got it. I've asked you to get it for me. And apparently the net result of all of that is I'm told it's unreasonable to ask for it. Do you not know how much you've lost, Globe believers? Very, very badly.
You sound like an evil genius.
Well, next 3 questions. Let's see if you need R for any of them if you're a heliocentrist. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core?
Yes, you're going to need R.
Are we going to need R for that claim that we've got a molten iron core? What a shock. What about the distance to the sun?
Yes, you're going to need R for that too.
Oh, so ultimately everything claimed in the heliocentric model so far requires R. What about gravity? Scientific evidence thereof?
Yeah, you need R for that too.
Are we going to need R for that? So not really that unreasonable to ask for R, given that I ask for it daily. It's just when I ask my opponents, especially people like Cats, what they'll do is they'll crop out me asking in their comments, put it at the beginning of their video and never address it. So, you're gonna need R for that.
Morning.
Hello.
Your mod asked me to put myself on mute. I was gonna hop on here and have a quick debate with you. That's fine.
Awesome. What position do you hold?
I'm a globe earther.
You got an R value?
I'll do it without R.
Oh, wow. Go ahead.
I'm gonna start off with a question for you, if that's all right.
You have a claim as opposed to a question, given I've not actually made any claims yet?
Okay. Starting off with my claim. The Earth is a globe, having traveled across the world myself, having seen different constellations, and having seen the moon from a different perspective. How do you explain that?
Sorry, you're going to need R for that. You've just begged the question immediately that Earth's a sphere. That needs an R. Just said that.
No, I'm not using R at all.
Sorry, do you not know what a globe is? Sorry, do you not know what a globe is?
I'm asking.
It's
I'm asking the
interesting
question.
to hear that you are yawing. That's so interesting.
Sorry, a globe would require an R value.
Sorry, I missed what the other gentleman said.
I don't know, but the globe requires an R value.
Well, I'm asking my
only
position.
Okay, stop. Whoever's interrupting, Sasha.
Sorry.
Right, this is just we've just started discussing stuff with the show, and you're immediately causing chaos. Please, can you stop? Thank you.
Oh.
Okay, thank you. So, based on your declaration that requires R that the Earth is a sphere, do you mind not talking through me, please?
And my observations.
Do you mind not talking through
And
me?
my observations.
So, based on your
Go ahead.
sorry, are you going to talk through every single statement I make in response?
Fire away, sir.
Okay, based on your declaration that Earth is a sphere with a radius value, you're now asking me a question about a claim you've made. That is known as a burden of proof reversal fallacy. You've made a claim that your observations take place on a globe. That needs an R value. Now you're going to ask me how that takes place? I haven't made a claim about it. That's a burden of proof reversal fallacy. Do you understand what a burden of proof reversal fallacy is?
I fully understand.
Before you start chanting through me, I'm asking you a question based on your logical fallacy of a burden of proof. Do you understand what you have done, naughty boy?
I'm answering your question, and I'm saying yes, I understand.
That it's a burden of proof reversal fallacy to ask me something about your claim Earth is a sphere based on your observation, which requires an R value.
All right, so...
Not all right. I need an acknowledgement that you've used fallacious logic, so we can move on.
Let's move on, then.
No, not until you say I understand. I reversed the burden of proof after claiming something that required R. So we can move on. Understanding that you've already used one fallacy,
Well,
that would be a burden of proof.
This is interesting.
What? You using a burden of proof reversal fallacy based on your experience of a globe which requires R that you cannot admit to after challenging me to answer something which is based on your claim. I have not made a claim. You are burden of proof reversal fallacy using idiot. How simple can it be?
So here is my claim.
I heard your claim. Earth globe requires R. Then you asked me to answer something about your claim. That's a burden of proof reversal fallacy. How many times? 3.
Can you Okay.
Just acknowledge that you've used a fallacy.
Okay.
Not
So
okay.
let's continue forward.
Not okay. That's why I want you to acknowledge it, so I can tell you how not okay it is.
I'm acknowledging your point, good sir. I'm acknowledging your point.
That it's a burden of proof reversal fallacy to ask me to justify something about your claim. You understand that's fallacious reasoning.
Oh. I understand. Thank you. This is my first debate, by the way.
I couldn't give a toss. You're very poor at it because you've used a burden of proof reversal fallacy. That's poor. Poor show.
Okay. Thank you for pointing that
My
out
pleasure.
to me. I'll make note of that. And
My pleasure.
I will,
My pleasure.
forward.
Now, my pleasure. Further to your burden of proof reversal fallacy, you would need R for your assertion Earth was a sphere. Do you have that? It was my first question of you.
Do I have R? I'm
The
using
Earth radius.
I'm using a physical observation, which is one of your standpoints, correct?
I haven't given you anything. I haven't told you what my standpoints are.
Well, I've watched enough of your videos.
To not know that you need R?
Only Nathan, he's yawing third time. Because of that, I was interrupting. Sorry.
Okie dokie. So, globe, Earth, your claim needs R. Earth radius. Do you have it? If so, where'd you get it?
Do I have it? I personally have not measured it myself, no.
Well, why are you asserting Earth's a sphere then?
Why am I asserting a sphere? The differences in stars and constellations and the perspective change on the moon.
Sorry, you'll need R for that. If you're going to assert that's taking place on a sphere, you'll need R.
No, I don't.
Okay, how do you claim that takes place?
No, I don't, Nathan.
Go ahead.
Nathan, my standpoint from my physical observations
Which is what?
are contrary I've already stated my position.
The Earth's a globe. That means you need R.
Twice.
Globe shapes need R values, radius
no.
values.
Nathan,
Shh. Hand waving that your statement Earth's a sphere and you don't need R is nonsense. Do you not understand that?
Nathan.
Don't chant my name. Do you understand that to say in the first statement that you are on a globe requires R and you haven't got one?
Nathan, you
Don't chant my name.
like that.
Don't chant my name.
You don't get to talk to me like that. You don't.
Yeah, you can suck my balls, you fundy dick. You haven't got an R to claim you're on a globe. I'll talk to you however I like.
Is that,
No,
is that
no, you
appeal
don't
to
get-
format the second fallacy now then?
Yeah, appeal to format.
Not addressed
You're
at all.
being very petulant.
That's an ad hominem fallacy. You haven't got an R value. You've said you're on a globe. That requires R. Being on a globe requires an R. You've said you don't need it. Then you've said further to my observations. Well, the only statement that you've made is that you're on a globe and then your observation. So unless you're going to affirm the consequent with I'm on a globe, which requires an R, you're not going to get to actual globe proof with any of this crap.
Now,
You already
with
conceded
that in
this is your
mind-
first debate, right?
Bro,
so
bro.
for you to judge the debate. Right?
Why is it so hard for you to provide who measured R? We know you didn't measure R, but why is it so hard for you to provide who
exactly.
did? And stop
Well,
yawning with the silly shit. Wake the fuck up. Answer
Silly
the
shit.
question.
Pardon me.
Yeah.
What silly
you
shit?
keep, you keep yawning.
Yeah, we're still asking for R. Now, the fact that you're yawning just is rude. If you're in a meeting with somebody and you're just yawning whilst talking, they'd consider you rude. So, okay, he's rude. Yes, most of them are rude. He doesn't have an R value, so his argument dies on his ass as soon as he says it's on a sphere, which he has.
No.
No, well, where'd you
Why
get your
is-
R
why is that
value?
funny?
Hello, guys in G+. So where'd you get your R value?
Here. Where did I get the R value? Well,
You've asked me that about 6 times, every single time I've asked it to you. So don't just repeat the question, give it me.
I'm answering your question. I like to repeat the question so that I can clarify my standpoint.
That's bullshit. People just buy time when they repeat question. It gives them time to think. It's a psychological defense mechanism to give you more time. Don't bullshit me about why you repeat what I say. I know why people repeat what I say.
Okay.
So get the fuck on with it, you dumb shit! Where'd you get her?
Well, other scientists, of course.
Oh, really? You think the scientific evidence of R? Excellent. What's that?
The scientific evidence of R. Well,
You said the scientists. Now you're going to repeat me to buy yourself a bit of time? That's right, you've said scientists. Therefore science for R. Give it me.
okay. The length of shadows, the distance traveled, the time and position of the sun.
They're all maths.
Mm-hmm.
So you said science? Hello? Hello? So you said science?
So with a
Sorry.
debate,
Hello?
with a debate,
Hello? Do you not know the difference between
Hello?
science? Hello? Do you not know the difference between science and maths? Measuring things is what you've just given me. That's not science, you idiot.
well, the first person to invent.
Oh, wow, this is boring dealing with a complete Dumbo. Oh, you don't know the difference between maths and science, God. You're sending me to sleep, you complete Dumbo.
The first person to
Oh,
measure
you're so
the
boring even as you start
radius of the Earth, so the rasticities.
Sorry, you're going to babble on about science because you've just said you've got scientists giving you R. Give it me. Where's R? We seem to be wandering into the weeds of not having R.
Would you like to state your point of view first before we
You've
have
said you've got science for R. I'm asking you to back your claim you've just made. Scientists, R. Okay. Go on. You've given me maths. No acknowledgement that you're stupid and that's not science. Do you understand the difference? Hasn't been answered. So none of my questions are getting answered. Do you not understand the difference between maths and science? You gave me measurements. That's not science. So clearly, you don't know the difference because you said
It's part of
scientists
science,
and then
it's part of the
started talking
process.
about measurements
It's a part
and then
of
talking
that.
through
It is a
me
part-
when I berated
it
you
is
for
a
your
part
stupidity.
of-
So why are you now talking through me, Fundy? Yeah, you've gone quiet now because you can't chant your way through everything I'm saying. So, that's called the religious fundamentalist mute button.
Mr. Oak,
Doing it now, chanting my name through me, telling you off. You haven't answered me, you left a little pause and then started chanting through me.
yes, because you continually interrupt me while I try to answer because there's a delay.
Okay, now that the line's clear and I've waited for you to shut up, Do you not know the difference between maths and science? You gave me measurements, that's not science. Clearly you don't.
Did you mute me?
Are you having a laugh? You've just chanted through me asking you this question, and then when I actually ask it to you, you ask if you're muted. Are you having a laugh?
Okay.
I am.
So, do I have an R value?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
You said
Where's
you didn't
my
need
evidence of that?
it. Really? You said you didn't need
Personally.
it. Why are you saying you've got one now when you said you didn't need one?
I don't need one.
So why have you got one if you don't need one?
Why do I have one? Because it's there.
But you said you don't
If
need
I
it.
don't need it.
Oh, you don't need it when you say globe. That's stupid. Yeah, that is stupid. Don't laugh at your own stupidity. To say you're on a spherical surface requires an R value for it. I've said you need an R value. Your attempt was to prove it without using R, just saying you're on a globe, which requires R. Now you're saying you've got an R value. And then you said scientists. Then you started asking if you'd been muted.
Because all of a sudden, I noticed that my name wasn't popping up. My voice thing wasn't popping up. I thought it was interesting.
Sorry, R, scientists, obfuscation much? We still aren't getting R, by the way, audience.
Okay, so let's continue forward. You're stuck on R.
No, you're stuck on R. I don't need one, you stupid idiot.
So you're very fixated on that.
No, I don't need one. You're needing an R value to say you're on a globe, and I don't need one. So it's not my fixation. It's my pointing out that you haven't got one. You haven't got one.
So
I don't need one. Sorry, I don't need an R value. You going to acknowledge that? Fixated on it. I don't need it.
Your claim. Can you prove your claim? You've made a claim now. Prove it.
I said I don't need it.
Prove it.
That I don't need R? What do I claim that needs R?
Prove it, bud.
Sorry, what do I claim that needs R, Dumbo? Yeah, you realise how stupid your question is? Yeah, Earth as a sphere definitely needs an R. I don't need R. You need one and haven't got one. So that's a big problem for you. It's not a problem for me.
Value. Prove there is no R value. Prove it. You're making a claim yourself. Prove it.
Okay.
Bro, do you think you live on a globe?
Hold on. If the Earth was a sphere, radius 30...
I was asked a question.
I'm trying to answer your question.
Fire away.
If the Earth was a sphere with a radius of 3959, as claimed by Sphere Earth, the same globe you thought you were standing on, then every distance to horizon could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. And we have an image that shows demonstrably that it is in excess of an Earth sphere radius 3959 with an obstruction known as Earth curve at the horizon. So the horizon is not Earth curve, and that is where you derive your Al-Biruni dip angle measurement to get R in the first instance. So you haven't got R.
Where's your mathematical equation to prove that there's no radius? Where are your...
Sorry, I don't prove non-existence, Dumbo.
Prove it.
Sorry, I don't prove non-existence of things. You claim you have got... You claim you have got a sphere beneath your feet. I can debunk it based on the geometric limitations your claim requiring you have an R would be debunked by. So it's not my claim, idiot. I debunk it. You have a claim I can prove beyond all certitude that we don't have Earth sphere radius 3959 beneath our feet because we'd have geometric limitations at the horizon exactly as is claimed.
I think
no, if there is a horizon, if there is a horizon.
Arwin,
sorry,
what are you
gentlemen,
doing?
Gentlemen, I'm speaking to Mr. Oakley. Thank you. I appreciate your cooperation.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. This is my show. I'll control the panel here, dickhead.
Oh, I'm just thanking them too.
Don't thank them. Just give me R.
So, if there is a horizon, there must be a curvature. There must be. Without a curvature, there can be no horizon.
What?
True or false?
But that's a baseless assertion. True or false? It's your claim that the horizon must be mandatorily there based on there being curvature.
It's true. And we can see this through the simple observation of ships out at sea. We can see this very simply with the setting of the sun.
Okay, talk me through it.
when watching a ship sail out to sea, we can see it obviously begin to sink from the bottom up through the from the base of the hull up to the top, correct?
This is your claim.
Okay. So watching a ship sail out to sea, and you see these things go from the bottom up, it's going what appears to be over the horizon, correct?
That's your assertion. Don't tell me that it's going over the horizon. That's an assumption of physicality at the horizon. So no. Do you want me to stop you right there, or do you want to continue?
I'll continue.
Why?
Continue.
You've just
Thank you
why?
for the
Sorry.
offer.
Hello. Why? You've just assumed.
Hello. Hi.
Sorry. Hello. Your statement just assumed the horizon's physical. Do you understand that that's a begging the question fallacy you've just employed? Another logical fallacy.
No, that is not a fallacy.
So when you say going over the horizon, it's not that you're assuming it's something physically going over something physical then. That's not just your assumption.
Because there is a physical...
Sorry, I'm pointing out that you're begging the question and you're ignoring me.
Sorry, repeat the question again?
No, you are begging the question. That would be to assume your outcome. To assume that the boat is physically going over something. That would make the horizon physical and the boat physically going over that physicality. That is you assuming the very thing you're trying to prove.
No, it's not.
You don't have to interrupt. I'm trying to explain to a Dumbo what a begging the question fallacy is and you're interrupting me. Try to listen and understand and comprehend rather than talk. Do you understand? I'm educating your dumbass on how you beg the question of physicality, the thing you're proving. The horizon must be physical because of Earth curve. Why? Well, because I assume boats physically go over it. That's begging the question, you Dumbo.
Are you done?
What, telling you that you beg the question? Are you going to acknowledge that you beg the question? Do you know what begging the question is?
So when a ship goes over the horizon...
When you beg the question that it physically goes over the horizon, yes, that's begging the question, yes. You're going to ignore it and plough on anyway, no.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not. That's assuming your outcome. You're trying to prove the horizon's physical, and we've proven it isn't by showing it's beyond physical limitations of the geometry Earth sphere radius 3959. We've debunked its physicality. Just saying, I assume boats go over it is begging the question.
I don't assume, I know they do.
Oh, you know they go over a physical geometric sphere edge. No, if the Earth was a sphere radius 3959, then every distance to horizon could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Black Swan. It is in excess of the geometric limitations that would provide physicality for your boat to go over. We've debunked that, my friend.
Answer my question.
You're going to ask me that I'm asking you? No, I've debunked your assertion it's physical because Black Swan, it's in excess of physical geometric limitations of said sphere radius 3959 Black Swan. We've shown it's beyond those limitations, so boats definitely aren't going over physical Earth curve edges.
Your proof has been disproved multiple times by people more knowledgeable than I.
Oh, really? How so?
How so?
Maybe
How
repeat
would
my
you
question
understand that?
back again. Yeah, that's right. You've claimed my Black Swan, which it isn't, has been debunked by more intelligent people. That's ad hominem attack. That's another logical fallacy he's thrown in, just for good measure. So I say, oh really? How has the very thing you've just claimed happened? And you repeat that question back to me. Is the thing you just claimed bewildering to yourself? That it needs repeating?
No.
So get the fuck on with it then. How has the Black Swan been debunked?
Can I ask your panel a question?
You could answer my question about your claim you just made and seem to be ignoring immediately. Maybe repeating it back to yourself wasn't enough time to think of an answer.
Okay, how has
The Black Swan been debunked like you just claimed? Yes, get on with it. That would be a total fail. No, it hasn't. The only claim that is supposedly debunking it is terrestrial refraction. That would be Earth refraction moving it with respect to itself based on an R value refraction that you can't get if you can't measure R. So no.
Nathan.
Say my name, bitch. Yeah, we've debunked your physical horizon for your assumption that boats go over it, my friend. Yeah, we're still in the same position, and you laughing about claiming it's been debunked by quote-unquote more intelligent people doesn't change the fact that it hasn't.
The reason I went silent is I had to take a deep breath because you're a very rude individual.
Another ad hominem attack. You haven't got to debunk the black swan. If Earth was a sphere, radius 3959, then every distance to a physical geometric horizon for boats to go over could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, as claimed in your Earth curve mathematics when you say boats go over the horizon. However, the black swan shows beyond all certitude that the horizon is beyond those physical limitations you want to assume boats are going over. So no, you saying more intelligent people have debunked the black swan doesn't change that they haven't. That's where we're at.
Nathan, can I ask a question?
You could wait for this guy to get to the end of his begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator claim that boats go over the horizon that he thinks is physical by way of assumption when he begs the question. Still hasn't addressed that.
It is not by assumption. It is by actually witnessing it. It is actually.
So you witnessed physicality of boats going over a geometric limitation that we've debunked? No, you didn't. You just thought you did and assumed that it was physical. That's wrong. You're begging the question. You obviously don't understand what a begging the question fallacy is. You think the horizon is physical, and then when you see a boat reaching the horizon, you decide that it's going over a physical geometric limitation that we've debunked with the black swan, that you can't get around.
You continue to make a statement yourself, but you don't provide any evidence.
Black swan.
That's
my fucking evidence, dick shit.
Well, let's look at.
Let's stutter around the fact that you've just claimed I've got no evidence, and then I say black swan and you stutter a bit.
Well, let's look at.
Let's acknowledge the black swan as evidence.
Ranty disproved it.
Oh, Ranty, the guy who lied about me running from cats. I asked for R. Cats didn't want to deal with that, so he ran away from me. Ranty lied about that and said I ran away from him. So you want to trust Ranty? He's a lying shit.
No, I do.
Yeah, you're stuttering, bitch, yeah. You still haven't got R.
Because
You haven't got R?
Your email.
Where's R? Give me R.
I've read your email.
Give me R.
Give you R.
Yeah, where'd you get it? Al-Biruni dip angle measurement of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon that you think's physical by assumption and begging the question fallacy has been debunked with the black swan evidence you haven't got around. Now you want to talk about Ranty? No, you haven't got R. It's the elephant in the room.
I'm using cats as a person who's proved it. I've used Ranty as a person who...
Oh, really? This is news to me, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, Cats has got R. Why didn't he just give it to Pat to pass on?
Because you asked not to have it.
No, I said he couldn't prove it. I said the show would run as me... you're going to chat through what I actually said because you're going to substitute on around to your cat's lies? I said it'd be very boring, me asking for an R value that we've debunked and then spending 80 to 100 times repeating that? That's boring.
I've read the emails.
Yeah, I said it would be boring.
To admit that our...
Sorry, I said it would be boring. I gave an example with quotes with what would be said, hypothetically speaking.
Yes, the 88...
Yeah, I said it'd be boring. And here we are asking for R and you not giving it us. And us just continually asking you over and over again for R. The elephant in the room you haven't got. And when I say black swan, because you say I haven't got evidence to prove that if the Earth was a sphere, radius 3959, as we assert when we assume R, that's debunked by the black swan, then the horizon distance for boats to go over, by way of begging the question fallacy, could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, as per the begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator that Cats and Ranty used to ask flat earthers why how many feet and inches are missing. But they need R for that, don't they?
Yes, and then...
Yeah, and they haven't got it, and neither of you. So when I asked for it, Cats ran.
The radius...
Yeah, he hasn't got. He hasn't got it.
Kilometers.
He hasn't got it. It's debunked.
The radius of the Earth is 6,378.1 kilometers.
Chant it, Fundy. We've debunked that, because if it was, the horizon distance could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, and the black swan shows that that's not the case.
And then you throw in refraction as well.
Refraction? What kind of refraction?
Light refraction through...
Sorry, your refraction on a globe is terrestrial refraction.
Oh, what's your celestial?
Terrestrial on a globe. That's your refraction. Do you know what terrestrial...
Hello, what's yours?
Hello? Why are you muting me?
Hello?
Why have you got me on mute?
I'm not muting you.
Can you stop talking to me then? So...
Who muted him? That's
Do you
rude.
want to know what refraction is on your globe? Because you don't seem to know. It's terrestrial.
No, I'm asking you what
I'm
your
in the middle of
refraction
talking.
is.
There you are with your
Explain
mute
to me
button
what
again.
your
There you
refraction
are with your
is.
mute button. So, do you not know what
By all
terrestrial...
means,
There
mute
he is
me.
with his mute button again, ladies and gentlemen. This is what Katz needs. He needs somebody that will allow this. So, do you not know what terrestrial refraction is? You talked through me 6 times so far when I asked.
It's only been 4 times, actually. But
But you don't know what terrestrial refraction is? Because that seems like an obfuscation. This is this... What? Not the 7th time I've asked you if you know what terrestrial refraction is?
I told you, it's only the 5th time.
What's
And
the
what is
standard
terrestrial-
calculation?
What is terrestrial refraction?
Yeah, yeah.
It is simply, I
Yeah.
already stated what it was.
Yeah,
I
what
already
is it?
told you what refraction was.
What is it? Terrestrial refraction, and that's refraction on a globe. What is it?
I already told you.
What is it?
I already stated it.
Oh, well, then you're no good to me then. Because I don't hear you telling me that it's based on R.
How did you not hear that?
Oh, so
I
it's
said
based on
that
R?
Refraction. I told you that refraction is light refracting through humidity.
No, that's wrong. Your refraction's based on R. That's incorrect.
No, it's not. Have you ever gone scuba diving before? Have you
So
ever
that's
gone
not refraction
swimming?
on
Have
a
you ever
globe,
not
my
seen
friend.
light?
Hello? Hello? You've got a begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator to assert that the geometric horizon has got boats going over it, and the refraction in your globe maths, that's what you utilise to assert things go over a horizon that's physical and geometric. That's based on R.
So I'm just going to keep talking because...
Oh, really? What, because you don't like hearing that your refraction claim that debunks, according to you, the black swan by moving the horizon to a non-geometric location with R that is derived from a geometric measurement of R with the horizon? That's paradoxical. Yeah, you think you're just going to carry on talking straight through that? Yeah. That's why you probably moan and say you need a neutral platform. Well, I point out that it's paradoxical to refract the horizon with R, because the measurement of R is based on the horizon.
Further.
Yeah, you're just going to chant straight through me.
Light bends.
You're going to keep chanting that light bends. That's not terrestrial refraction, which is refraction on a globe, though, and you're ignoring me.
You continually are arguing that my...
How come people on your side tell us that you can't see this geometric horizon, that it's only in the maths? And they say the horizon we do see is only apparent.
What he's saying is boats go over a geometric horizon. It's physical. It goes over it. Now he's saying the horizon's refracted with an R that he needs a horizon to be physical to refract it with. So if the horizon's now refracted, it's not got boats going over it then? That was just merely an optical effect. But suddenly we've got a refracted horizon, whereas 2 minutes ago we begged the question that boats physically went over it. So we're in a paradox now. Boats are physically going over a non-physical refracted horizon according to him. It's paradoxical. Furthermore, his refraction's based on R. He needs R to refract the horizon. And he hasn't got it because the horizon's derived from an R value-based horizon.
You can see further because of refraction.
That's based on R for you, so you're going to need R for your refraction. I've said that 3 times.
Can you disprove R?
Nathan, if you refract light, you see further. The more refraction, the further you see. The more you disrupt the image, the better you see. Is that what you just said?
You can. You can
see
bend
further
light to
because of
see
refraction.
further.
Non sequitur. The fact that you can bend light has nothing to do with corrections for R-based refraction on a globe in globe geometry. Your assertion that boats go over a geometric physical limitation, that would be Earth curve, is a geometric assertion, and your geometric refraction's based on R. Now, I don't give a crap what you do when you try and bait and switch actual refraction, that's light bending, and Fundy mute the crap out of me explaining this, because this guy is chanting like hell while I'm saying this, so he's assuming that you're not going to get through, right? Maybe complain that you're getting muted while I start talking and you chant through every damn word of it. Yeah, your refraction isn't light bending. Yeah, there he is chanting. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why you need your neutral platforms. So that when a devastating disclosure comes through from me that your refraction that he's using to claim he's got over and around the black swan is based on R. And he'll constantly try and bait and switch my audience with, no, light bends. Yeah, that's not terrestrial refraction, though, which is globe refraction.
Well, at present, he's claiming that boats go over refraction.
Yes, I did point that out as well, Brian.
No.
The paradox that he's got boats going over a physical horizon, he assumes. Now he's telling me that's a refracted position that boats are going over? That makes no sense.
Dude,
How do you measure something that's refracted?
Pardon me, sorry, I was speaking.
How do you measure
how do I
something
measure
that's refracted?
understand.
Okay, thank you. To answer that question, how do you measure something that's refracted? Personally, I don't know.
Well, why are you claiming it then, you dumb shit?
Oh my God.
Because it's a physical observation.
Oh, so it's physical and refracted? That's a paradox, dumb shit.
No, it
just
isn't.
said that you're
So boats go over
your
physical
ignorance,
refracted
dude.
horizons then? They're going over the physical refraction, are they? Hello, you stupid shit!
Hey,
It's going over the physical refraction, is it, dumb shit?
there.
You stuttering dumb shit. No, 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 he says. And then I say, oh, so boats go over the physical refraction. Do they, dumb shit? No, they do not, dumb shit. No, they do not. You're just dumb. Yet you've got a paradox. Boats physically going over a horizon. You're fighting to prove it's physical, only to later disclaim that it's refracted. With terrestrial refraction's what you're using on a globe. If it's light refracting on a globe, it's going to be R-based refraction. That's what your refraction is. You seem to think it's something to do with light bending. No. Your Muppet Vision light refracting through a globe, that's R-based terrestrial refraction and needs R. So you're going to need to measure the horizon physically, but apparently you're going to refract it. So you definitely can't measure R with it anymore because you're refracting it.
Are you done?
Am I done? What, annihilating this prick? Yeah, I've pointed out that so far you've used about half a dozen different fallacies. You've claimed as your first debate, yet you know intimately all about cats. You've read an email back to front and inside out. And yet you can claim physicality at the horizon and paradoxically boats are going over refraction. Yet you're asking me if I'm done. No, mate, you've been annihilated. You're a prick. You got annihilated. You definitely didn't prove R. You danced around it quite a lot. Now you're proving that the horizon's refracted with R when you can't measure R and you haven't given me R. So you got absolutely annihilated here, mate.
So there was a question that was asked to me.
No, there was a statement of fact. You got pummeled. You didn't have R. You tried to refract the horizon with R. You used a begging the question fallacy to assume its physicality, and then paradoxically claimed it was refracted later in your argument. You're done. You're out of here. Now fuck off.
No.
No, you're going to keep here chanting at me and asking me questions I don't need to answer. Yeah, no you won't. Sod off. Go away.
I'm asking your panel.
No, you're not asking anything. I've made a declaration. A winning declaration. You don't have R. Your attempt to get around the black swan needs an R for your refraction. That's where we're at.
Nathan, there's a delay. You've attacked my personal credibility.
I haven't attacked your credibility. I've attacked your argument. You've tried to refract the horizon with R. Paradoxically meaning you're simultaneously claiming boats go over a physical horizon and boats go over refracted non-physical positions that can no longer derive R to move them with R.
Putting over top of people.
Oh, so while you chant through my demolition summary, you're going to tell me that I'm, what, talking through you and you start in the middle of my sentence chanting through me?
No, you're extremely rude.
Oh, right, that's an ad hominem attack. Meanwhile, you don't have an R value. You definitely don't have a geometric horizon to assume boats go over it, especially when you're telling me how non-physical it is when you say it's refracted. Further to that, refracting the horizon means you can't measure R with it, and the R you're refracting with it is based on R. So you are basically screwed in every single way here.
Do you not hear yourself?
What, annihilate you? I do hear myself daily annihilating people just by asking for R. I then watch them run away and claim I've run away from them.
You ran away from me.
No, I annihilated your argument just by asking you for R, which you said you didn't need. Presumably you must realise at some level that claiming R leaves you screwed immediately, so you said you didn't need it. So at some level you appreciate that you require it, but don't want to claim it because you know it's going to get pummeled with the black swan, which you think you can get around by refracting the very thing is used to derive R with an R-based refraction. That's where we're at.
Explain to me the differences.
Don't demand anything of me. You've lost.
Of the moon.
Don't demand anything of me. Don't chant and then move on just because you've lost.
Hey, I would like your panel members.
I don't give a shit what you want. You've lost.
The difference.
You've lost. You don't get anything.
Prove it.
You don't have an R value. If the Earth was a sphere radius 3959, then every distance to horizon could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. And the black swan shows it's beyond those physical geometric limitations. So you can scream and shout and chant while I'm saying this to you and try and mute me to only claim I've been muted. Yeah, that's because a fundamentalist religious zealot chant mute button won't work when I point out how your argument fails. Just not listening to it by chanting through it doesn't change that the audience hears what you must run from and chant through and ignore and say is unreasonable to ask for concession on. That's that you don't have R.
If I was running, I would have been gone, but I'm
Give
still
me R.
here. I'm
Give me
still
R.
willing to have a
Give me
discussion
R.
with you.
Give me R. Give me R. Where'd you get it?
I already told you, 6,300.
That's just a number. Where'd you get the measurement of it?
Where did I get the measurement from?
Oh, I think I'm suddenly really tired now I'm being asked for R. The thing that conspiracy cats ran from, then lied about.
He is very tiring.
Yeah, tiring asking for R day in, day out. And when you ask for it, apparently it's an unreasonable concession. And instead, we should accept 80 to 100 renditions of me asking you for R. Where'd you measure it?
Actually,
Where'd you
we're
get it?
probably about 22 times.
Yeah, you summarise how many times you've asked a really cracking question here, given that you claimed you're on a globe immediately, after denying you needed R for that claim.
Yeah, I'm asking you the why there's a difference in stars and constellations.
Who gives a shit? I'm not making a claim about it. Back to your original burden of proof reversal fallacy that you conceded. What a wanker.
Well,
So what a wanker, ladies and gentlemen. Concedes and understands he's using a fallacy, but when he loses on R, just like Katz did, he wants to move back to his begging the question and reversal of proof reversal fallacy. No thanks.
Educate me then.
I did. I told you what burden of proof reversal fallacy was. You said you understood and now you're using it again.
I'm asking you.
You stuttering bitch, yeah, I know. So where'd you get R? Where'd you get your measurement for this R value, that your refraction that you think you're removing the horizon with? Why'd you chant through me every time I start asking you a question? You scared of me? Running away. Chanting through me is running away from my question about R. Yes, that's right. But having to repeat it 80 times because you've chanted through it each time, so you didn't have to listen to it, is you running away from this. That's right.
No, it's not me running away from it.
Would you prefer there was a nice, fair, unbiased moderator telling me to shut up?
For you, every time I answer you, you continually shout over me and call me names.
No, I don't. I say you haven't got R. Where'd you get it?
Thank you. Where did I get it?
Yeah, I think you should ask me the question back.
Do you accept the answer that I gave you?
You haven't given me an answer.
How did NASA get it?
No. Where did you get it? To assert that the horizon was physical and having boats go over it, like you claimed. And then I pointed out that asking me about it would be a burden of proof reversal fallacy, which you conceded and then used a minute ago, after I pointed out, roll on chanty funting any moment. Chanty funting, fundy chanting will start any moment. So when I pointed out that you're trying to refract the horizon with an R-based refraction that requires the horizon to be physical to measure it, that's where we're at in this discussion. Lots of chanting and talking through me, but that's where we're at.
I hesitate to answer because I'm concerned that you're going to start just shouting at me over top of me again.
Do you understand, though, how important this R value is, that you have it before you can move forward?
Yes,
Cats
I do.
didn't. Cats didn't, and neither did Pat. You see, Pat saw it as an unreasonable concession to ask for. But yeah, this dick's been here for a good solid 20 minutes trying to dodge it.
So yes, I do understand how important the R value is in,
chop then.
this side of the argument.
Excellent. Where'd you get it? How's it measured?
I already answered that question.
Oh, really? Well, then fuck off, because you haven't answered that, and just saying you have doesn't wash here, dickhead.
You said, where did I get it? I said I got it from NASA.
Oh, where did NASA get it?
Where did they get it?
Well, do you need to ask me every single question I put to you to buy yourself a little time? Yeah, you're not going to pass the buck. How did NASA measure it? Hello?
And also, how did you validate NASA's information? How did
you don't know?
NASA's information?
Paul, what do you mean you don't know?
That is an excellent question. How do I validate it? I have to go on the fact that they've studied maths and astrophysics and geology
Yeah,
and
but
all sorts of wonderful
Who
things like
measured the
that.
ore? Who
Bro.
measured the ore, and what did they do?
Sorry,
That's the
it's the
question.
same exact question. You've had it about, what, 25 times? Maybe you'd like to say it's only 12. Who cares? Where'd you get the measurement? Where's R coming from? Don't just say NASA.
He just believes that they've got it.
Yes, I do.
Oh, really? Well, the R value assertion from NASA is Earth radius 3959 miles. And if that was the case...
Yes.
Yeah, you don't need to talk, I'm talking, thank you. Don't nod along. If that was the case, then every distance to horizon measurement could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. It's the horizon marked with an X labelled horizon in your begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator. That R value was derived by dip angle to the horizon. A physical horizon, Al-Biruni measured to get a tangent to it. So, without it being at that limitation that NASA claim at 3959, which you just trust in, you haven't got anything to make a claim that Earth's a sphere anymore. You need that R value for every claim.
Physical observations.
Yeah, you hadn't quite finished. I know you really, really want to chant through this. Your mute button doesn't need using, thank you. So in spite of the fact that NASA tell you you've got a 3959 mile radius for a sphere Earth beneath your feet, which would necessitate every horizon being no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. That's the geometric limitations of that sphere radius that NASA gave you and you trust in. And the horizon's beyond those limitations. Yeah, you just still need to chant through the conclusion every time. We've debunked R, my friend. You haven't got 3959 radius anymore. It's beyond those limitations of those geometric capabilities of that sphere that you thought you were on because NASA told you.
Okay. Are you done?
I would say a 20-second pause is a general indication that I've got at least 5 more sentences if I'm a complete retard like you.
By all means, have more. You seem to have a lot to say continually.
You seem to have nothing to say when I point out that the Earth's sphere radius 3959 is debunked. There's long silences after I point that out. Unless, of course, you're chanting through it like you're doing now. Then when you chant through things, you don't seem to recognise them at all because you talk through them and have to repeat them over and over again. It would be far easier if there was someone on your side here telling me to shut up, wouldn't it?
No.
Well, why the long pause? I point out that it's beyond the limitations of a sphere Earth radius 3959 that NASA told you about, and there's a long pause. And then you ask me if I'm done? Did the long pause not suggest that? Hello, dickhead, your last question. Are you done? Yeah, the long pause that came after my statement of fact indicated that to everybody watching. It's just you didn't have a response.
No. I was waiting for you to finish because you can.
Oh, the 20-second pause didn't indicate that I was finished, dipshit.
Ad hominem attack.
No, that is genuine stupidity. If you don't recognise that somebody's sentence is finished when there's a massive pause, that literally makes you stupid. That's not me not responding to an argument you've put forward, which is what an ad hominem attack is. So clearly, even though I had to explain it to you earlier, you don't actually understand what an ad hominem attack is. A statement of fact about your stupidity, not recognising that somebody's not talking when there's a massive prolonged silence, and you need to ask if they're done, makes you stupid.
You dumb shit, we debunked R. It's over.
Yeah, did you hear Neil? We've debunked R, you dumb shit. Don't ask me if I'm done, we've debunked R. The globe's done. You're done.
With the numbers...
Stutter for me, bitch! That's right, stuttering Simon. We've debunked R, stuttering twat. Now ask me if I'm done.
No, you haven't. You haven't.
Yeah, we have. If Earth was a sphere, radius 3959, as you assert from NASA, then every distance to horizon could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. I'll add the curve maths. For your boat to go over. And the black swan evidence you deny and simultaneously already know the debunking for. There's no evidence for that, black swan. Oh, I already know the overcome for that. In spite of you claiming this is your first debate. You already know the overcome to the argument for the black swan, which you deny as being evidence, and yet this is your first time. Do you think we came with the last drop of rain?
You know what's funny,
Sorry,
dude?
I don't understand your slang.
I don't understand how somebody who could only be here for the first time could know every single argument that could be here and the rebuttals to talk through them just at the right moment. I don't know what you're implying.
You know, before you asked for an equation, right? You remember you did that? You wanted an equation. The funny part is that your own equation from your own globe math debunks your own argument. I don't think you understand that yet, but that's what's going on here. This is why you've destroyed yourself from the moment you got here, when you asserted that the horizon is physical, and then once laced with the black swan, all of a sudden now it's optical. It's refraction, right? Terrestrial refraction, which you don't even understand. So you don't see how you snatched your own wig off from the moment you got here.
A terrestrial refraction is, in standard form, 7/6 of a radius, but can be massaged to any value that is required to move an object with respect to the horizon. So any value you like, respect to r. So 7/6 of the radius in standard form would be terrestrial or globe-based refraction. That's what you said was going on with the horizon. It's refracted. If it's refracted on a sphere, it's terrestrial refraction based on r.
So therefore, you can't say terrestrial refraction to prove the R, because you need R for terrestrial refraction.
Yeah, where'd you get the R?
Get that?
Where'd you get the R for your refraction?
We debunked R.
Where'd you get the R for your refraction that you said? That's where we're at. I pointed out where we were at, and there was a lot of fundy muting and obfuscation. So you're refracting the horizon with R. Where'd you get R?
Our debunk of R is explained away by an R-based refraction.
We don't need R, but should the horizon be pointed out as non-physical, and I'm trying to prove it's physical, I'll say it's refracted, with R, and then ask what terrestrial refraction is. Yeah, you're doing really well, my friend.
How can you measure refraction?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need R for your refraction. Where'd you get it?
That question was asked me earlier. Yes, thank you for bringing that back up. How can I measure refraction?
No, terrestrial. No. Terrestrial refraction. Are you dumb or deaf?
You would have to get the
height
of the object.
How do you measure something physical if it's refracted all the time? You can't measure it as physical, as you're not seeing it as physical. You're seeing it in a refracted position. So it would be, the whole thing is impossible. You don't understand that. And the refraction you're trying to measure is based on you actually seeing the physical thing that you can't see because it's refracted.
Exactly.
And you don't have that refraction because you don't have the physical thing to measure. It's a whole thing. It's circular reasoning. It's nonsense.
It's not circular reasoning. It's paradoxical at that point. With that, though, I am going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you, first and foremost, to both Discord and G+ panels making today's live show possible. If you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you watching live, smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Also, you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy, a link in the info box below this video. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on either Premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!